Good morning, student. We will continue the previous chapter, nervous system. Second part of nervous system, that is the sense organ, eye. Eye is, as you know, that eye is in form of ball, which is situated in orbit of the skull. Two eyes are located in deep socket orbits, front side of head, and some accessory parts of the eye is eyelid, eyelids, eyebrows, hmm, eyelashes, tear glands. These are accessory, accessory parts, not a necessary part. And eye is the receptor of light. hmm. The eyelids is over above upper and lower lids of eyes. They their function is protection of eyes. And eyebrows are also, eyelid contains eyelashes and it is also prevent eyes from falling of particles inside the eye. Eyebrows are also not a part of the eye, but it prevents the rain drops, perspiration from getting into the eyes. Tear gland is called as lacrimal gland. It is situated at the corner of the eye. 6 to 12 ducts of the gland pour the secretion in the eyes. Its very important function, first is washing away dust particles, lubricate the surface of the eye. Dust particle washed away, lubrication of eye of the surface of the eye, and lysozyme which present in the eye kills germs. So, and also communicate the emotions. So these are the function of tears. Clear? Now, conjunctiva is the uppermost layer which is present in the on the cornea of the eye. As shown in diagram, you can see that in front of eye the surface is bulge out. Hmm? So this bulge out surface is cornea, and conjunctiva is upper layer which protect the cornea. When infection is there in cornea, so it is known as conjunctivitis. In conjunctiva, though, it is known as conjunctivitis. The structure of the eyeball is covered with three layer. Outermost layer is sclera, as you can see that sclera. Middle one is choroid and inner one is retina. Sclera, we can say that cornea is the part of sclera. Sclera is toughest most layer which maintains the shape of the eye, and choroid is middle layer and it forms the iris. This is, as you know, in the uh, eye structure. You can see this. So this is called as iris, and in between the iris, the this hole is known as pupil. So this iris is part of the choroid layer. Choroid layer has a pigment which gives the color of the eye. It is a dark black pigment melanin which prevents light rays from the reflecting, and ciliary body smooth muscles, the shape of which hangs the lens. तो choroid layer में ही ये lens है. Lens is a transparent and which allow the light. And innermost layer is retina. Retina is consist of rods and cones. This one is retina. Rods and cones These rods and cones are specific for specific colors, cones, and rod cells are sensitive to dim light, and cones are sensitive to uh, daylight. Cones contains the pigment iodopsin, and rods contain the pigment iodopsin. The and one more thing is yellow spot, which is present in on the eyeball. It is the best known vision point, and blind spot where is no vision. Another part is lens, very important part. This lens divides the eye into two chamber, vitreous chamber, this aqueous chamber and vitreous chamber. Sorry. Aqueous chamber filled with aqueous humor. The aqueous humor serves in two ways: keeps the lens moist and protects it from physical shock. It refracts light. Vitreous chamber is the larger cavity of the eyeball behind the lens. It is filled with a transparent, jelly-like thicker fluid called vitreous humor. How do we see? The four major steps in seeing an object are as follows. Entry of light rays. When the light rays enter, so it pass through the cornea and pass aqueous chamber, and then pass lens, and then pass vitreous chamber. So we can say that vitreous chamber and aqueous chamber filled with vitreous humor and aqueous humor, they can allow the light. So they are transparent. When light rays pass through the lens, so it focused on the retina. When it focuses on the retina, it forms image. So, but if it the focus will be on blind spot, so there is no image is formed, and it is a optic nerve. Optic nerves are attached with the light, which bring the impulse to the brain, where shadow is formed, inverted shadow is formed in the brain, and uh, the person is able to see whatever they want to see. Focusing of image and nerve impulse produced in retina transmitted to brain, and brain interprets. Now, accommodation of I. Accommodation of I means to see an object clearly. The eye focusing um, the distance of the process of focusing the eye to see the clear image of the object at the different distance is called as accommodation. Accommodation matlab eye adjust itself according to the distance of the object to see, to interpret the object clearly. So this adjustment by the eye to focus on retina is known as accommodation. So it is the how it happened. So this mainly brought about the change in the curvature of elastic lens. डिस्टेंट विजन के लिए इफ एनी ऑब्जेक्ट इज वेरी फार फ्रॉम द आई then the lens is more flattened and thinner. If any object is um, near the eye, so these changes in the shape of the lens is brought about by the ciliary muscles. In the normal condition, the lens remains stretched by the suspensory ligaments and it is less convex. When we look at a nearby object, the ciliary muscles contract and tend to pull the ciliary body slightly towards, and this releases the tension on the suspensory ligament. The light and dark adaptation: when you pass from a brightly lighted area to a dark room, भाई ये तो accommodation is related with the distance of the object. And second thing is adjustment of the eye when we go from the light to dark or dark to light. So that is when you pass from brightly lighted area to dark room, so you feel difficulty to see the objects there. So what happened? This and slowly your vision is improved. So what happened? The visual purple or rhodopsin, which is formed in rods, which was earlier broken down due to bright light and dilated of the pupil. तो regeneration होता है, regeneration of rhodopsin and dilation of pupil. Pupil, you know that it is the hole in iris. It is dilated. Dilated means it is uh, फैल जाना, जिससे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इसमें लाइट एंटर करे और रोडॉप्सिन डेवलप हो जाता है रॉड्स में, बिकॉज यू नो डैट रॉड्स आर responsible for dark vision. When you came out from the dark into bright light area, so the cones becomes active. Cones are active and uh, rods bleached and adopsin, regeneration of adopsin, which and this pupil partially closing of eyelids and pupil constrict to reduce the amount of light entering the eyes. The color vision is responsible by cone. The common defects of the eye near sorry, these are the adaptation of eyes to see the clear. Now some defects of the eyes. Defect, as you see that this one, this one. So one defect is short sightedness. It is known as short sightedness and it is long sightedness. Short sightedness is also known as myopia. In this, the near and close object can be seen clearly and distant object cannot be seen clearly. Reason, two possible reason. Eyeball is uh, eyeball is lengthened from front to back and the lens is too curved. So image will be formed before the retina. For the correction we can use the uh, concave lens, and this concave lens by the using of concave lens this focus fall on retina. So it is the correction of short sightedness. Long sightedness, uh, mm, distant object can be seen clearly but near object cannot be seen clearly. So what happened? Eyeball, here is eyeball lengthened, here is eyeball too short, and lens is less convex. The less convex means lens, sorry, lens is too curved here and lens is thin here. So for this reason, image will form behind the retina. So for the correction of this defect, Doctor doctor suggests that the aspects of convex lens. So this focus corrected and it will be on retina. So these are the two defects which is can be corrected by the using of extra lens. Now some other defect is astigmatism. It is a defect in some part of the object are seen in focus while others are blurred. Presbyopia is a condition affecting older people who cannot see near objects, and cataract is a condition in which the lens turns opaque. Night blindness, it is a nutritional defect in which vitamin A, deficiency of vitamin A. So this deficiency is required for the cones rhodopsin. If cones is not formed due to this deficiency, they will not work properly. The rods function in dim light, and the absence of pigment, they cannot function. Color blindness is a genetical disease in which a person cannot be detect the light colors of blue and red. So these are the defects. So color blindness is the genetical, night blindness is the nutritional. Other defects are related with structure of the eye. Cataract, as you know that this lens becomes uh, opaque, and now squint means defect of two eyes, cross eye. Now, RI is for binocular vision. All monkey apes, particularly human, can perceive depth of the relative distance of the object. This is due to simultaneous focusing of an object in both eyes, and their images of by a kind of overlapping by dimensional, जिसे हम दो डायमेंशन देख सकते हैं. After images, the basis of motion pictures. So this is some image which we can um, the images persist in our brain, and so we can see that. So that is another thing. So this is all over the eye, and ear I will continue in on Monday. Okay.